this semester to practice. And it wasn't. It was a result of that.
Melissa, I hate to even ask this question, but your friend who said that he or she saw bodies, did he or she say how many bodies she saw?
She said she saw 3.
You saw 3?
Yeah.
Law enforcement sources are saying that the shooter was a student, suspected to be a student, a current student of the school. Obviously, we don't want to mention any names. That's up for law enforcement. But do you know anything about?
No, I don't know. I don't know anything about who it might be or why. I just know this was like the worst nightmare scenario that you hope never happens to you. And all these, I was listening in earlier to some of the commentators, and it really speaks to those of us, especially who work in schools and work with children, and their, our society's inability to tackle this problem. It's just totally unacceptable.
It's pretty clear that we're failing our kids here, and I'm not saying that the solution is one thing or another, but obviously this does not happen in other countries the way it happens here.
Society failed those people today.
How are the kids that you were teaching? How are they doing?
They're doing okay. They're holding it together. It was a little bit more stressful and harder. When we were in the closet and, they were crying and panicking, and now we're off-site and pick up, so, it's a lot calmer.
How old were the students you're teaching today? About 15?
16, 17. I have a freshman in my newspaper class, 14 or 15.
How many students did you have to take back to the classroom and put in the closet?
I managed to put 19 kids in the closet with me.
How long did you have to be there?
Less than a minute.
Oh, less than a minute, and you were cleared pretty quickly.
No, we were in the closet for probably 40 minutes.
Oh, 40 minutes.
Like,
okay.
we were locked in the closet until SWAT came and got us and took us somewhere else, and then took us somewhere else. And now we're, standing out in the street, and kids are, finding their parents.
Those kids are lucky they have you. That must have been a horrible experience.
Yes, it was horrible.
And then as a teacher, you have to put on a brave face.
Yeah, which is very difficult.
When no doubt you were pretty scared.
Yeah.
I
think I have to go now because I have students that are getting picked up, and I'm responsible for them. So.
Melissa, thank God for you, and those kids are lucky they have you, and thanks for talking to us.
Okay, thank you.
Like I said, this is just the stories we hear now and the stories we report, and 20 years ago, this would be shocking and stunning, and but no, this happens in everyday America these days. Yes, Tom Flynn.
Jake, you mentioned about the school being a crime scene, but you have potentially 2 additional crime scenes. The vehicle that person took to the school, if he took a car or how he got there, and then secondly, that person's residence. If they've identified the shooter and have identified then the shooter's residence, you would have a crime scene search there. Are there more weapons or explosives or other items there, literature, his computers, other things that might, reveal more information. Also, in Sandy Hook, the shooter in Sandy Hook had shot and killed his mother at the residence, then went to the school and began the massacre there. So that's another thing of, is the shooter's family safe? Are they accounted for?
I want to play sound from another student who was reunited with his mom, and we just got this from a local affiliate. Let's listen.
It's just different when it hits home, You read about it, you see it when it happens in other places, but when it's your backyard, when it's your child that's hiding, it's just a little different, It's a very sad day.
Honestly, I'm still in shock. I don't know whether it'll hit me tonight or tomorrow. Like I said, to me, it still almost feels like a drill, It's just surreal to see, like, my mom and my aunt just crying, waiting for me.
A reuniting of a boy and his mother and his aunt at the school outside in Parkland, Florida, in Broward County. Josh, you wanted to weigh in?
Yeah, Jake, just piggybacking on what you and Tom were saying earlier about how we become desensitized. These continue to happen more and more, and it just becomes so commonplace. And I think of 2 things. We were just sitting there listening to Ms. Volkowski talk about 6 weeks ago, they received active shooter training, which is incredible. I mean, I know that the FBI has really increased the number of trainings provided to entities like this, and as well as law enforcement. So the fact that we need to increase training is, that's troubling. But then secondly, and Tom, as we sit here and watch law enforcement, we see a sea of red and blue uniforms. The fact that you have a seamless fusion of law enforcement working together, it's something you want, but sadly it's also evidence that we've had too much practice.
And these are the images from at the top of the hour when what looks like a young man was detained by police. We do not know who this young man is. We do not know if this individual is the shooter. Certainly it happens on crime scenes that there are cases of mistaken identity or individuals who are detained because they might have information. We don't know. This individual was also later put into an ambulance and taken away, and there were local TV news choppers following that ambulance. We don't know who this is, but local law enforcement is saying that the individual shooter is a student at this school. And Charles Ramsey, if I can bring you back, is it usually the case that at a school shooting, the shooter is a student at that school?
I don't know if it's usually the case or not. Certainly there are numerous cases where that is the situation. Sometimes it's a former student. Sometimes it's someone who's just mentally ill that decides that's what they want to do. Yeah, I guess it varies. But the bottom line is somebody probably knew something as it relates to this young man, maybe through social media or something that wasn't quite right. And whether or not that was brought to the attention of the adults in the school or anyone else, I don't know. More will unfold over time. Now that we know who this individual is, we'll start to learn a little bit more. But whether or not it's usual, I would have to take a look at all those shootings in order to be able to say that. But I would say it's not uncommon. First thing I would think is that it's probably a student or former student.
And when it is a student, in your experience, Chief Ramsey, usually have there been some sort of warning signs, whether on social media or... Well, hold on one second. We're going to listen to the police briefing the situation.
Okay.
We're having audio problems. I'm sorry, Chief Ramsey. I'm gonna bring you back because we're having some sort of audio problems with that individual. Is it usually the case that there have been some sort of warning signs?
Guy and our
now we have the audio. Sorry.
Will begin processing this horrific scene as soon as the buildings are cleared. Right now, the buildings are not safe to be cleared. We're asking that you put out on the news ASAP that any parent who's looking for their child to please go immediately to the Marriott within the Heron Bay complex. Our deputies and other police officers are transporting these young students over to Heron Bay to be reunited with their parents. So that's where we want parents to go. I want to thank Mayor Bean, Commissioner Sharif, and Mr. Runcie for being here to support the Broward Sheriff's Office and to be with me at this terrible time. Last thing I want to say is this is a terrible day for Parkland, Broward County, the state of Florida, and the United States. My very own triplets went to that school and graduated from Stoneman Douglas. They play football and lacrosse at that school. So it's just catastrophic. There really are no words. And we will keep you updated. I have spoken to Governor Scott. He's out of state. He's on his way over here. I have spoken to President Trump, and he's offered the full power of the United States of America to help us get through this. Any questions? He was found off campus. I don't exactly know where. I believe he was found in the city of Coral Springs by a Coconut Creek police officer. That's unconfirmed right now. There's so much information. I can't. From what I understand, there was a time where he did attend the school. I don't know why he left. I don't know when he left.